Boy, talk about a distorted view of his own self-worth. I'm astounded at the creepy things he said. You know, he gave in to Putin on Syria. He gave in to Putin on war games in Korea. And he got 3 times the valuation. He's being hammered for it now on all the properties he sold to all the Russians in both Miami and New York. This guy was after nothing but money for himself, and he's being rightfully shut down by the prosecutors the same way that they shut down his charity and his college. They were frauds. This guy is a total fraud, only out for himself, and that's why he's at 30%, and Biden's got him over, by some 15 points in popularity right now.
Tell me what you really think. Let's break some of that down. So start with your first allegation.
Well, they're not allegations. The fact is that he triple-priced his receipts from the Russians for his properties in Florida and in New York. And that's actually what he's being charged with, is overvaluation, undervaluation in so many ways by the New York prosecutor.
But it's a private company. You can overprice whatever you want if it's a private company. It's not illegal. You can do whatever you want. It's a private company.
That's just lovely, except when you lie to the IRS and you lie on your forms. What's
your next point after that one? So your first point, your second point is that he's down in the polls against Biden. Would it be true for me to say that Biden has a historically low approval rating, not seen for many, many decades?
No, because he's come back up 10 points, as you know, since that last speaker was saying Biden didn't accomplish anything.
Since he told the 1/2 of America that they were all terrorists.
And all that. What?
Well, since maybe his polls bounced a bit once he decided to stand in front of blood-red flags with Marines and tell half of America that they were MAGA extremists. Of course he's going to get a bump from the extremist side of the argument. Your next allegation was which?
The extremists, when you talk about the court that he made 6-3 by bludgeoning
he didn't make the court 6-3. He had to replace the justices, and we currently have the first justice.
He had Garland as a replacement, and he blocked
Excuse me, I'm talking. Ketanji Brown can't even tell you what a woman is, and she's sitting on the Supreme Court. So I think I'd rather go with a conservative view on that one. Now look, how can you and I reach across the aisle to talk about stuff? It sounds like you've turned up on a TV and pretty wound up with me, telling me your view. Now, what do you think that Trump said about China, Ukraine, and Russia was wrong? And then we can start a conversation.
People haven't forgotten, do me a favor, though, phone call. They haven't forgotten to find me 11,780 votes in Georgia. This guy, there's a reason that your country voted in Parliament not to have him come over, but your wonderful royalty did want him to come, and Boris Johnson did want him to come and all that. But there's a reason for the fact that he was an embarrassment to the world, and now the credibility of the United States has been restored. Granted, Biden is 79 years old, and granted, I'm 76. Granted, he forgets a few things. But he is a wonderful, decent human being who has reached across the aisle.
Well, what's so great, Robert, what is so great is that you should definitely have another espresso. And thank you for showing the world why we're so divided.